to Florida so I can sweat even more.
3, 2, 1.
You are doing that, aren't you?
I'm getting a lot of hits from Florida, that's for sure.
You're live.
We are on.
What'd you say? I'm alive?
No, you're live.
It's alive.
It's alive. So,
What's going on, Rich?
how you been? It's been
I'm
a couple
good.
of weeks.
Little time off.
So I was watching that on the Me Too front, the Asia Argento girl.
Yeah, how's that going?
Well, I guess her and Rose McGowan are actually going at it now. Not the number 1 and 2, if you will.
Cat fight.
So it sounds like Asia is, I think her name's Asia Argento.
Asia
is essentially saying that Rose needs to retract everything that she said about Asia, which is nothing terrible other than, get better and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an admission of guilt, if you will. I mean, by I don't know. So basically, she's saying you should give her a timeline on Twitter, which is kind of weird. Like Twitter's the way to actually correspond. Her attorney wrote it apparently,
And she stuck it on Twitter.
on Twitter.
Her attorney didn't write it, but she passed it along.
Right.
via her account.
Normally, you do that through signatured email. Signatured like FedEx or something.
Yeah, that's an edgy way to do it.
So she put it on Twitter. Basically, you have 24 hours to retract your statements, or there's going to be litigation. And they used to be best friends or whatever. It's a brutal. Politics is brutal.
It is. It's a terrible thing.
Culture is brutal. I'm not taking a side on it. I'm just telling you that's the update on that.
Well, I had an update myself. Miss Riordan, the singer from the Cranberries, her death
I read about it.
was ruled accidental.
Accidental in the bathtub.
Accidental in the bathtub.
So I guess she drank too much.
She drank too much. Her levels of her medication that she was on was all normal. So she didn't OD herself. She took the regular amounts, drank too much alcohol, and drowned.
Yeah, so this came out about a week ago. And for clarification, her name is Dolores Claiborne.
Riordan, I want to say.
Riordan.
Rior.
I said Dolores Claiborne.
Yeah.
Isn't that a Stephen King novel? Riordan, yeah.
Yeah,
She's the girl from the Cranberries.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't announce originally how she passed away, but
Well, everybody assumed it was suicide. I think that's
at
where
that
we're
age
at.
in the bathtub in a hotel. Yeah, I usually think that.
But there was a lot of weird suicides. You had,
Seems accidental.
you had the guy from Soundgarden, Chris Cornell.
Kind of back to back there.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of them.
All at the same time, we're talking about death again.
Yeah, we love starting off with a light death story.
Hey, you know who I saw on? I don't even watch this show. It was like Family Guy or something. You know who I saw or is it Simpsons or something? We were talking about Wilford Brimley. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
We were talking about that a few weeks ago, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see him.
Wilford Brimley.
Well, he's playing a part.
Yeah.
Well, no, I should say he was on it. They made a character of Wilford Brimley.
I think that was The Simpsons. I think. Or was it
Talking about Modern Family. Was he on Modern Family?
No.
Family Guy?
That was Family Guy.
Was it Family
They
Guy?
Family
made a
Guy would be
cartoon
that, yeah.
out of him, and they said Wilford Brimley's coming in, and he's going to be
Oh,
talking
I
about
see.
diabetes.
It's a thing.
I mean, just the fact that we talked about him a couple weeks ago, all of a sudden he pops up out of nowhere. I mean, I haven't thought about the guy in like 20 years.
Well, it's an internet thing,
He's a legend.
It's kind of like Florida Man. Florida Man is a thing.
What's that?
Well, okay, we've talked about the Florida Man in Ireland. Well, there's this kind of, it's like an internet thing. So it's kind of everybody says, all right, there's always these headlines, Florida Man does crazy ass thing, A, B, C, D, whatever it is. So then it's become, Florida man gets around and he's doing all this crazy stuff. And then it became, okay, Georgia man, I think, New York man. So it's kind of like they kind of toss it around like, hey, New York man, see, hey, Florida man, you're shot, Can you up me on that one?
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I gotcha.
The kids.
Yeah. So those are what did I start with? Oh, the Me Too thing. All right, I'm off of that.
What else is going on?
I'm off of that for now. Let's go on the news, Brittany.
The news.
What do you want to know?
Elon Musk smoked pot on Rogan.
A lot of people have smoked pot on Rogan's show.
Right, but the difference being is that they are not owners of a public company.
Good point.
That was the angle.
Good point.
Which is not an SEC violation.
Sure.
It is just that he should be leading by example.
Well, wait a minute. Leading by example. So we are going to
No, he
pass laws all across the country to legalize it.
Well,
but a guy wants to
No. So Neil Tyson DeGrasse came out. They interviewed him to sue because he's on there all the time.
Right.
And they said, "What did you think of it?" And I said, "Leave the guy alone. If he wants to smoke some pot, let him smoke some pot. It's legal."
Right.
He's on Elon Musk's team. So leave the guy alone. It's legal. And then you had the other side that was saying you shouldn't be smoking pot on the air.
Why?
To me, I could care less. I mean, leave the guy alone.
Well, I mean, if he has an outwardly observable behavior issue.
Oh, no.
Right.
He said he hadn't done it in years since he was a teenager. Rogan smokes pot on the podcast constantly.
Oh, is that what it is? Rogan blazes. Okay. I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
he blazed almost every show. So he handed it over to Musk, and he said, "What's this, marijuana?" He said, "Yeah." He took a puff of it and said, "I don't feel anything," and that was it.
Did he inhale?
Jesus Christ. I don't know, Bill Clinton. Did he inhale? No, he said he took a hit off of it, but, you could take one hit off of something.
I don't know. Can you?
I
don't think it had just hit him yet.
Maybe
That's right around the time that everybody goes, yeah, I don't feel nothing.
Well, I mean, got to give it about 5 minutes.
The reason I ask is because there are those who say he did not inhale. So
who cares?
yeah,
Puff, puff, puff.
yeah.
I mean, really, who cares? It's not like the guy is, gone bananas or anything. I mean, I was on Elon Musk a few podcasts back. You remember?
Yeah.
Nobody should be named Elon Musk, and I don't even know what he does and all this stuff. Yeah, we were watching so I don't care if the guy smokes pot personally. I don't smoke pot, but whatever.
I don't think it's a responsible thing to do. So if everybody wants to hang this whole, well, he's a leader of a company and all this other crap, well, then you have, other people who are leading companies that, are hookers and blow and partying with Charlie Sheen, and nobody bats an eye about that. But if he actually does it on a show, they're going to crucify him. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a double standard. Seems like people are just piling on because they can.
I don't know. This is too much social media. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
It sickens me. I'm out of here.
Quit. Let's just quit contributing to this whole thing.
Yeah, I don't want to contribute any more to this nonsense. No, everybody's got something to say about it. I guess us included.
Right.
I don't care what the guy does.
Well, who knows? Maybe somebody's interested in our opinion on something.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion, as my grandfather said.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so all right. So what were we going on to, Elon Musk, and then I was talking about Rogan. I saw this funny video where they do Rogan versus Rogan, and then they did Jordan Peterson.
I saw that.
It was Jordan Peterson versus
Yeah.
Peterson Jordan.
I didn't click it, though. I didn't click them yet. They showed up my feed yesterday.
They're hilarious.
It's
Okay.
pretty funny. Yeah.
They invert it to make it look like they're talking to himself.
To each other, yeah.
But
to
they use
themselves.
alternate personalities.
That's pretty cool. I like the idea.
Rogan's was fun. They were both funny. I don't know who did that. That was fun though to watch.
I almost looked at them last night. I was like, oh, now that's interesting. And then the Jordan Peterson one too. So
There's at least 2 of them. I know those 2.
all right, so now we're gonna have the Richard Van Staten
Yeah, talking to myself.
talking to Van Staten Richard.
I'm out at that level.
You might get a lot of hits with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Use some of my bizarre comments
like every
against
day.
myself. Right. What the hell are you talking about?
Play-Doh.
Somebody get on that, please.
Yeah, I ate too much Play-Doh and put on my nipple shirt. I don't know. We can make a whole thing of it at this point.
We could. We're building cred.
Plenty
That's
of-
what we're doing.
Plenty of content to choose from at this point.
We got a ton out there.
So I put out this thing that when I was in Ireland at the Guinness factory, like all kinds of attention.
I saw that on LinkedIn. That was pretty cool.
I know, but
Rich is pouring beer.
But I
Sign me up.
well, I wrote that it was my new job as a bartender.
Right.
But I write all this serious stuff, and then that's what gets all the attention. By the way,
Well, because everybody's sick of this serious stuff. I mean,
not
everything's too serious.
not serious.
I said the
but
same thing.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't overly. I don't write overly serious stuff.
Well,
My PR firm calls me an aggravator. They said I'm an aggravator.
aggravator. I don't see it, but I think it's actually kind of cool because I mean, you look at it and you go, everybody's trying to be out there and be so pristine with their little, I'm perfect and I'm not wrong. And
Yep.
here's Bill. Hey, I'm pouring a proper Guinness. That's cool.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not trying to do that. I mean, be like everybody else, or I wouldn't even be on this podcast looking this way.
True.
I'm just pointing out that all I was doing was pouring a Guinness.
Yeah.
I mean, I went up to the VIP section or whatever, and they teach you about the history of, where it all came from, and I always knew there was a proper way to do it. And I was actually would show bartenders, no, you got to turn it this way because it uses nitrogen instead of oxygen,
Right.
Which I knew before as well. And there's a certain way to do it, and then you got to tip it up at a very particular
There are so many
point.
people that don't know that concept of it pouring a proper Guinness.
Yeah.
That is a big frickin' deal.
I think it's the only beer that you have to. There's a
There's a wait time.
very meticulous skill to it. Well, there's only wait time if you do it wrong. So most bars, what they'll do is they'll pour it straight up just like anything else, and they have to let it sit for about 2 minutes so the foam will go down, and then they have to refill. If you do it correctly, and I didn't learn this exclusively at the Guinness factory, I just learned it by watching proper bartenders do it the right way. If you go in on a 45-degree angle and then kind of tip it up a little bit, there is no wait time. So if you get wait time on a Guinness, they're doing it wrong.
Aha.
Because they're pouring it like a Budweiser. Right.
Man, I am learning so many new things today.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm full.
Ireland was cool, though. I told you everybody looks like they should be in prison. Probably myself included, but we had a good time when we were there.
It looked like a good time. And it looks way better than everything else showing up on LinkedIn with pictures of cats, and it's starting to look like Facebook, and
Yep.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
it really is. LinkedIn
bitching
is
about
really,
my boss, and it's like,
LinkedIn's really turning into like
Everybody's
Facebook for professionals.
videos. Oh my gosh.
Well, what are you talking about? I do it too. What do you?
well, I like the cheddar
No,
videos.
no, no, no,
The
of
cheddar
itself.
videos are kind of cool. What's this whole cheddar thing? I was going to look that up the other day. Did you know they have a news channel on cable right now
Yeah.
called Cheddar? And I
Yes,
was like,
yes.
wait a minute. That's that same thing that shows up on my LinkedIn. So who's fronting that?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Maybe you could look up his front and shutter. There's a bunch of new mediums out there, and actually, I think one of them is actually called Medium. It's an app. You're looking for alternate resources, let's say, for news, right? Rather than just your USA Today or CNN.
Yeah,
or
your
MSN.
standard Google search.
Well,
now.
because you're going to see the same stuff over and over and over again.
New York Post, New York Times, Wikipedia.
Right. There is new apps coming out on iOS and Android that are mediums for different types of content. It's not necessarily coming from the AP.
Okay.
Associated Press or Reuters or wherever.
Well, they used to have credibility, right?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I think that the news organizations have lost quite a bit of it. You know,
Well, we've
it
talked
doesn't
about that, right?
Even outside of your politics, they just keep, just regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again. And what's important to them is not necessarily what's important. I think they put out what I think they think people think is important. But my God, if I read one
Or
more
what
story
should
about the
be important?
Kardashians, I'm going to throw up.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Sorry.
Just like the nonsense stories like about the Kardashians and what Kylie Jenner's doing this week, and
Don't care. Unless she gets hit by a bus. Then I care.
Yeah. I whistled today, by the way.
You whistled with your fingers?
No. No. I whistled out of nowhere.
You mean you were just walking through the office and just like broke out an Andy Griffith?
I whistled. Yeah, I did.
Exactly what
I did.
No shit. That's cool, man.
You know what that means?
That means your medication's working.
Well, that
He's
plus.
happy.
No, it doesn't mean I'm happy. You know what it means?
What does it mean?
That means I'm almost 50.
Dang. When's your birthday, man?
No, I'm not almost 50, but it just means I'm getting older, and whistling is a thing. That's what you start doing when you get old.
Oh, hell no. I'm older than you, and I don't whistle.
That's because
The only thing that whistles is, well, never
We've
mind.
already Dixie.
Never mind.
We've already determined that you're 12 years old. No wonder you're not whistling.
Hey, Dad, can you show me how to whistle with my fingers? No, go mow the lawn.
Yeah. No.
Shut up.
Yeah, I did whistle. But just out of nowhere.
What was the tune?
I don't even know. Again, that's even worse. I just whistled nothing.
I used to hum. I used to just start humming. And I don't know what tune would kick in, but I would be in a weird place at work, and I'm working hard, and step away, and I'd be walking down the hall. Next thing I know, I'm humming. Like, oh, I need to stop that. That's annoying to other people.
So humming and, whistling, I think, is because you're getting older. That's me. Humming. I submitted that story to another very large podcast, and the topic was, why do we like music so much? Meaning, music in our culture surrounds us. It's almost in a construct. It's almost like, imagine I don't want to say the world, but imagine it's like Empire Mattress or something like that. I go past all these stores and it's like Mattress Universe.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
there's
it's
75 mattress stores. How could people need that many mattresses?
There's like 3 people working there. We're like Candle World.
Well, that we I think we may have covered that, but we think it's a money laundering front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, focus.
Stock that doesn't exist, right?
Okay.
Got no pizza.
No pizza. Why don't you
No
guys,
mattresses.
You guys.
you guys sell mattresses in here? No, we don't have any here.
Hey, we could diversify and work it in with our prostitution ring.
What was that?
There we go.
I was watching something about the mod.
Economies
yesterday.
of
Oh,
scale.
I was watching that show Ozark on Netflix. It's really good.
Ozark. I haven't seen that
Yeah,
one.
you'd like it. If you like Jason Bateman, you'd like it.
I don't know if I like him or not. I have to think about
He's
that.
kind of like a drama comedian, right? He did Arrested Development and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I was trying to watch that I Am a Killer one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
My
like
family was home. I couldn't really continue on with that one.
With the kids in the room.
Well, they kept coming in. I was like, I'm watching a show.
Back off, kids.
And the wife came in and said, you can't watch that.
Man, you're just told what to do in every second, aren't you?
Nah, she's not that bad.
I'm just goofing.
Actually, no, I was up
I
late.
heard she was spectacular.
I was trying to watch it, but people sleeping.
So I'm at a loss today.
I think we're going all over. We are just.
Yeah, so I was whistling, and then you're humming, and then
Well, at least it wasn't a Hummer.
You ready? It's time to wrap it up.
We're done. Let's go get some dinner.
A Hummer. No, they don't sell those anymore. They went to the Chinese.
No, I was, actually, I saw a gal. I was filling up with gas yesterday, and there was a gal that had H3 in there.
Is that the little one?
It was, yeah. It looked little. It looked very consumer. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, I'm all about the original Hummer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A bunch
If
of
you're
steel
gonna buy,
welded
if
to
you're
a
gonna, if you're gonna buy a
chassis.
Hummer, you got to get just go on the military surplus and buy one there.
Yeah.
They have the real Hummers. They're about 18 grand, by the way.
For a real Hummer?
No.
Sweet.
Not used though.
Armor or no armor?
I don't know.
All right.
What, you gonna put your machine gun on top of it?
There's probably a how-to on that. Well, those things don't go very fast. I mean, it's not expressway cruising you're going to do with that, baby.
No, plus they're used. They probably like 200,000 miles on them. I think it's more of a vintage type of thing,
Yeah.
just to have one.
Well, the diesels in those, I mean, 200,000 miles, you just broke it in.
Yeah, those go forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, military surplus if you really want one, without a, map in it. Little grinding 7-8 gears, bad clutch.
Well,
It's good times to have a Jeep like that.
really.
That's one of my. I think it's my favorite vehicle.
Which Jeep Wrangler,
Yeah.
XJ,
No,
CJ?
No, it's a Wrangler from back in the day. It's like a '94 or something.
Two-door?
Like that. 2-door.
Did you lift it?
It's slightly lifted.
All right. I got an XJ
Not,
that I've had.
not obnoxiously lifted, but lifted enough. It's a modder, so it's rusted all on the bottom, and
Yep.
obviously been through.
It's a Michigan
it's
car.
It's been through hell,
Yeah.
but I think that's my favorite. It smokes a lot when I start it. The battery was on fire the other day.
Ooh.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I kept moving.
Well, yeah. Those, they just keep rolling.
It was on fire underneath the hood. And I was like, screw it, let's go.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Maybe the window put it out.
I don't think that's the way it works.
No. My son had his battery blow up in my XJ, so I had to go out and fix that. But, slapped in a new battery, good to go.
I've been fixing stuff for the last 3 weeks in a row. Demoing houses and
What?
yeah.
Oh, you getting into flipping houses?
Side job.
Nah, yeah, so right during the day I like run this
Run
this
sophisticated corporations,
sophisticated
high technology.
corporations, and then I'm knocking down doors.
Oh, you're like
knocking down walls on the weekends.
what's his name? Ice.
Bob Vila.
No, the Ice Baby guy.
You call me Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice. There we go. Yeah.
Well, how does that
Vanilla
compare
Ice
to, how does that compare to Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice has his own show where he's redoing mansions all the time. So that's probably.
I know, but he doesn't own
Yeah,
a technology company.
gotta
You've
look this
never
up.
seen that?
No.
Oh,
No,
you're in for a treat.
no, that show's been on for 6 years or 7 years.
He just does crazy stuff. Picks up these old mansions, guts them, tweaks them.
He was actually on the airplane that got stopped at JFK because a bunch of people got sick last week.
No.
He was on that airplane. He was
Oh.
in the upper deck.
Huh.
And but it was people on the lower deck that got, and he videoed it. Why do I know this?
I did not hear about that. That's kind of a cool story.
Still one of the most popular songs ever.
Ice, Ice Baby.
Is it though?
Is it? You know about it, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, you weren't even born.
Sure, I was.
Okay, you were a fetus.
She was like 2,
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
No.
I had my parachute pants on and had my whole MC Hammer thing going.
The MC Hammer. Hammer time.
I'd go to the mall and join a contest.
With this acid washed jeans.
I didn't know with the parachute pants.
Parachute pants. Okay,
From-
I was following up,
from Chess King.
I was following up on I was the right-hand man with the stonewashed jeans.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm impressed.
But things that are things that are coming. There's certain things that are coming back.
Do we have pictures?
Of what?
Of-
I'll bring in pictures
I
next
would
time
love
of
to
myself
see
wearing
that.
these mustard-colored pants. Trying to look like MC Hammer.
All right. Best one I ever had. Never. Well, I know there's pictures, but I never got my own pictures. Was when I had my double color double hawk. So I had like the Liberty
I
Spike
love that.
mohawks, and it was what is that? 8-9 inches. Sweet.
Would you use to get your hair to stand up?
Spray paint.
No,
Egg
Elmer's
whites.
glue.
Egg whites.
Interesting.
I spray paint everything.
Egg whites. That was the trick, and it didn't screw your hair up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've already dyed it like 14 times,
Right.
right? So it's already like dust. So egg whites. Maybe they didn't help, but they didn't hurt it.
Right.
So
To do what? To get it out?
to get the hair straight.
Oh, to get your hair
to get
straightened up like
the
that.
spike fin thing
Yeah,
going.
That whole thing going. Yeah, it's very.
See, I just let out a big trick that a lot of people don't know
Egg
about. It was
whites.
egg whites.
Yeah, like our audience is walking around with mohawks.
Hey, it's coming back. I see more and more of these retro punkers all walking around with their straight edge stuff.
Where are you hanging out?
I'm not hanging out. I just see people.
On
We're in
the
Royal
internet.
Oak, right?
On the interwebs.
I mean, if I go walking through Royal Oak, it's like a
True.
retro
Even driving through.
fashion
You'll see
thing.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you hanging out?
Royal Oak.
I was meeting her. What do you?
With your egg whites. Yeah, you guys have at it, all right?
He's gonna beat me up in the lobby.
All right, so what was I talking about?
We are just careening across 4 lanes of
I know
traffic.
I understand, but I was talking about something very specific. Hair dye? No,
Well, whistling at
Whistling?
first, but
Are we lost from the whistling?
forget it.
We
I
were-
have to sit up now to sleep because I've got like sleep apnea. Growing old happens quietly, right? This is my shtick.
Okay.
So when you're about 20 years old, you just give or take. Right? Things happen in increments.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point in your life, you decide, you know what? These slippers feel pretty good, actually. And
I don't care if they're big giant bunnies.
Right, and you put them on. So you're cool with that for a little bit, right? And then you got to have your coffee in the morning. So now you got your slippers and your coffee. Wait, I'm almost there.
All right.
And
There's
then
nothing abnormal here so far. I'm going.
no. I'm saying the
So-
way
Normal.
the way that it weaves its way into your life. Getting older. Because I used to look at my parents and be like, "What the hell is wrong with you?
What's wrong with you people?
Stop tinkering around with your Metamucil and go do something."
Get up. Get out the door. Go.
And then you have a couple incidents with your own bodily functions and you think, and you go to the store and they recommend Metamucil and you're like, okay, well, I'll take that. Now you got your bunny slippers on, your coffee in the morning, and your Metamucil. Next thing you know, you get out of the shower. It's a little bit cold. You decide to put a robe on. It feels good. You close it at first. Now you got bunny slippers and a robe on, drinking Metamucil and a cup of coffee. Your hair starts to fall out in the shower. So now you're wearing your hat. So you got your hat and your bunny slippers and your robe and your Metamucil and your
All I
coffee.
need is this remote control in this chair.
There you go. You take your eye exam at the driver's test, and they tell you need glasses. You go there, and they say you need bifocals. You're like, I don't want bifocals. They have that line in the middle, and they say, no, they don't.
No, they don't make them anymore.
So now you get your glasses on and your hat, your bunny slippers, your robe,
Bifocals.
your bifocals,
Without lines.
and it's just a little bit easier to hang them around your neck because you don't want to lose them.
Right.
So now you got the
Stick
chain
'em in your
around your
pocket.
neck.
You'll break them and stuff.
All right. This is how you get old. So today, I start whistling. Now I'm walking around the house with bunny slippers. My robe's open now because I don't care anymore. All right. I got my hat on. I got to get my Metamucil in my. I have a pill box now
Oh, with the days of the week.
with the days of the week.
How is it just 1 week or is it like 2 weeks?
It's 2 weeks, but it's practical now. But I'll eventually get to the day and night version. That's coming. I'm sure of it. Right? Then I'll have a day and night version. I'm always screaming something like, "Where are my pills?" walking around with my robe open. The whole thing's just a mess. And
today, you gotta get your shit together, man.
And today I started whistling. Now you put all this together, right? I go to the barber. They're plucking more hair out of my ears than they offer off my head.
Oh, don't even tell me about the porcupines that live on the side of my head. Jesus, what the hell is wrong with that thing?
This is Guy's version. My bathrobe, and then I go to find the most comfortable blanket in the house, and I wrap that around myself. I don't know, the whole thing's. I'm starting to fall asleep at like 10 p.m. 9:30 and getting up at 7 and listening to the birds. I don't care. I don't know.
Oh, I wake up at 3 in the morning and pace around, plot around the house.
Yeah,
set
with
up the
you
coffee maker.
get through bathrobe and your bunny slipper. This is how aging happens, and you don't realize.
Oh man!
So next thing you know, you're going to be 80 years old, and you're hunched over a little bit because you don't want to stand up straight anymore.
No, it hurts too much.
It hurts too much. You still got all that shit on you from the previous 80 years of
Getting
creeping
your ass
into
kicked.
your life,
Yeah.
And you try to fight it a little bit here and there.
He's
right?
having a midlife crisis, just so you know.
That's not what it is.
We're
I'm actually fine with it. I'm totally cool with all of this. I just notice that it like creeps its way into your life, like just little tiny bits at a time.
That's why I undertook my flagstone patio,
Just little bits at a time.
just to say that I can beat the hell out of myself with stones and rocks and cuts, and I can take it.
Yeah, that's what I was doing this weekend. I have video I'll post it on LinkedIn of me destroying a house.
Nice. Oh, you should have invited me. I love destroying houses. It's the fixing them is the hard part, you know.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that part.
No.
I just got I don't know. I really didn't use anything. I was just walking through walls and
Wow. You're like a Vegas,
ripping stuff down.
the Vegas flippers. They always, the one thing I noticed about the house flippers,
Yeah.
they'll wreck the house, then take pictures of it and talk about how bad a condition it was. And it's like that Hollywood, we wrecked the house. You know, there's like weird spray paint on the wall, and they punched a couple holes in the drywall, and it's kind of like, no, that's not how a house is destroyed. I've seen houses get destroyed with people in them, and it's like, whoa.
So I'll be honest with you. This was somebody else's house, so I was actually a little bit methodical about it with the electrical and the plumbing and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
yeah, you think that.
But
one.
I gotta admit, I did look for places where I could just run through the wall,
Nice.
he wanted.
and I found some.
He wanted
And
to
you
be
videotape.
Kool-Aid Man.
Did you videotape it?
She videoed
Yeah, they got
some
it,
of it,
yeah.
kind of me ripping like ceilings down with my bare hands. and
I
stuff
know
like that.
what we can do. Media genius. Hold my hat
Oh
on.
my God.
Yeah,
he's
here we go.
It's
excited.
exciting.
You're gonna like blow through the wall. We're gonna post it on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and we're gonna talk about disruption.
Okay, consider it done
Next weekend.
Make it happen.
in
Next
slow mo.
weekend.
I will go meet with your marketing people. We're gonna make this happen.
It's got to be in slow mo though.
Oh, way slow mo.
You'll see my face like fall apart. Me and my
Little chunks.
Hey,
just
I should
flying.
do it in my robe and my slippers.
You better tie that robe though.
Keep it closed.
That's all I can say.
It depends on what I'm looking at. If Kirk's in the room, I can't promise it'll stay open. Closed.
Avert your eyes. Avert them.
God.
Do not look upon me.
Where's Jessica when you need her?
Yeah.
She needs to tone this thing
I
down.
need a therapy couch.
We've been asking for it.
I know.
What kind of rinky-dink outfit is this? I mean, we asked for the couch. We get no couch.
No couch, no nothing.
Talk to management.
There's a complaint box out there. I think it has a grenade attached to it.
Yeah, don't touch it. I've seen the inside of that thing.
Which, the inside of?
Yeah, there's stuff in there. The
Is there?
complaint box.
Really?
Wouldn't touch it if I were you.
Oh.
No. So I got all kinds of splinters, and I stepped on a bunch of nails.
Did you get your tetanus shot?
No.
He's going to die. Make sure his insurance is paid.
No, I'm not going to get a tetanus shot because that's not what men do.
No.
We just eat it.
Well, until it starts rotting off.
No, I mean, I said if my foot turns black, then I'll go.
If it gets puffy, go. Okay? Just go with that. If it gets puffy.
Don't wait until it's black and blue.
Henry Rollins punched a guy in the face, smashed out his teeth, and then cut his knuckles open. He ended up having surgically removed from his, parts of his bones because he let it go too long.
Oh.
You're talking about lead singer Black Flag.
Yeah, Black Flag back in the day. He had spoken word tours he did back in the 90s. I saw him a couple of times.
Great guy.
He was a lot of fun.
He's still out there doing his thing, by the way.
He is.
Not on MTV, but...
No, but his thing was, back in the day, he was unknown except to the underground, right?
Yeah.
And then
That was punk, right?
kind of a big success story, right? Touring around the world, just living on a shoestring and doing all that stuff, and then you got then he gets to Hollywood. He goes back, right? So he starts doing all the Hollywood stuff, and it was funny. You could see the progression in his spoken word things because he had been documenting all this the whole time he was out on the road and doing this stuff. And then there was a transition at one point where all of a sudden he starts dropping names of celebrities. He's becoming popular. People know who he is.
He's quite... can you look up his age? I think he's probably... I'm going to take a guess.
He's 40...
No.
No, he's 4 years older than I am. So I think he's 55.
Henry Rollins. He's the lead singer of Black Flag. Well, then he had his own gig. It's called
the Rollins Band.
Right?
They had some cool tunes.
Let me take a guess first.
55.
56.
You're both wrong. 57.
That 1 year went by so quick.
Oh, he's getting old.
And he's 5'9".
He's a little dude.
No, yeah, he's not a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still looks good, though, right?
Oh, he lifts weights
yeah.
like
He got all cleaned up. At
Yep.
one point, he was in all the nonsense, but he cleaned himself up.
He was never a drug guy. He never was. No,
He doesn't look like it.
no.
In the early, I was thinking the late 80s, 90s.
No.
He never got into
He
it.
was very not into drugs. He was just anger-fueled rage.
Yeah, he still is. He's got that whole scream thing going.
Well, he can do it, but he almost lost his voice from it.
Yeah, doing that.
Yeah.
Well, it was deeper than most people were doing in the late 80s and 90s. It's like the higher... you remember, everybody remembers this. The higher the pitch, the more famous you got, right?
Oh,
It was
right.
like who could scream the loudest
Right.
at the highest pitch possible.
Well, that's when the hair bands kicked in, right?
Well, no, I'm saying the hair bands kicked in post sort of punk,
Post-punk.
post-punk era, and then it was just like a test for about 8-9 years to see who could scream the loudest and longest at the highest pitch.
Yeah. Right.
And
How many parents were crushed by all those records that were played?
well, I mean, you had the regular bands like the Motley Crues and whatever, but then everybody tried to replicate that, and the makeup got more and more makeup and more makeup and higher pitched and more. That's when my mother walked into my room and said to those girls on your wall. I was like, "Don't call them girls."
There was a band that I used to follow. It was called Accept, and they had a couple of hit tunes, but they were a German band, and the guy's name was Udo Dirkschneider. What a name! What a memorable name!
Kaja Gugu.
No, this was like balls to the wall kind of music. So wasn't balls to the wall like Judas Priest balls to the wall, but
Rob Halford has actually calmed down quite a bit.
Well, yeah.
Albeit
His testosterone levels have probably dropped immensely. So
he announced that he's
walking around his robe and money slippers.
and he announced that he was gay like a long, long time ago. It didn't bother me. He still was like, the rock god, if you will. But he did a Christmas album. Did you know that?
What?
He has a Christmas album. Judas Priest lead singer Rob Halford has a Christmas album.
Do you own it?
I mean, you don't buy an album anymore. I've got a couple of the songs on my iPoo thing.
Can you like put them up on OneDrive and I'll download them?
I think that would be stealing.
Eh.
Okay, Napster.
It's just a couple of songs. It's fair use.
Yeah.
I might want to buy like the whole album.
Nah. Yeah, I'll put them up there.
Try it before I buy it.
Yeah. You could do it. You could do it. Yeah, no, there's a couple that are pretty heavy. I mean, he does the metal versions of them.
Okay.
But he's got that. Rob Halford has that voice that can kind of carry forever.
Yeah, he can
like
carry.
the Iron Maiden.
He was like an opera.
Like the Iron Maiden.
Well,
Bruce Dickinson.
Freddie Mercury was the opera dude.
Oh.
He was rock opera.
We were just watching him this weekend.
Really?
His last performance, not his last, but his last large performance at Wimbledon Stadium.
Okay.
They were one of 5 bands that was actually there that day. And I think Ozzy was there. I don't know if it was Black Sabbath or not. It's still, but they actually stole the show, and apparently they did like 6 songs in 27 minutes, one of which was Bohemian Rhapsody. And if you look at the crowd, I think it was a crowd of 85,000 people.
Damn, that's a lot of people.
And in Wimbledon, mostly on the floor.
Yeah.
All right, so you just see.
Well, it's a soccer stadium, right?
Yeah, so you just see a sea of people.
Oh man.
Imagine doing that.
I don't know. I'm just not a big crowd guy. Maybe back in the day, but not anymore.
Oh, okay, so here's back to the age thing. When I knew I wasn't a crowd guy anymore, I went to a Godsmack concert about 7-8 years ago.
Okay.
Smaller, not a small venue, but smaller. Let's call it like, like not the Fillmore. What's the one next to the Fillmore?
The State?
What is wrong with you two?
No, the Fillmore is the State.
No, next to it. The whatever.
Fox.
The Fox.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
that's
I mean,
not small.
That's right.
It's pretty small for a concert venue. Well, I mean, it's not stadium.
Sure.
It's not a stadium. Right? It's not the Detroit Lions Stadium, Ford Field, right? All right. So I go to Godsmack concert, and there's not seating. It's just open floor.
One big mosh pit.
One big mosh pit.
Yeah.
And they have a show in advance of it, which is like a sort of a Circus Soleil on steroids.
Really?
Stick your swords down your throat type of.
Oh, is that like macabre, Circus Macabre or something like that?
Was like the opening act. It's just pretty cool to watch.
Yeah.
They always want to see somebody accidentally kill themselves, but so eventually Godsmack, you're standing there, so you're there early, and then they come out, and then you're like waiting for Godsmack to go. 2 songs in, my back hurts. Yeah.
My back hurts.
My back hurts. So I go up against the wall, and I'm like kind of crouched down for a minute, just to give my back a break, because I can't stand there that long, right? And of course, Sully Erna sees a bunch of people. He's like, "Anybody who's sitting down's a fucking pussy," or something like that. And I'm like, I think he's talking to me. And I'm like, well, it's easy for you to say. You get to move around.
Yeah.
You get to move around up there. And
He's on like 10 grams of Coke right now. Yeah, he isn't feeling anything.
My back hurts, and I don't have my slippers right now. Where's my bathrobe?
Got my therapeutic back brace.
I need to go to the car and get my pills. My blood pressure's too high. I don't know, man. That's what, just all kinds of stuff kicks in. But then I feel very sprightly at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
It depends on what day it is. Usually on Tuesdays I feel okay.
On Tuesdays?
Yeah, I don't know why. Tuesdays and Saturdays. That's about it.
All right.
I don't know. I'm just goofing.
I worked my ass off this weekend. I worked on that damn patio. I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. And
Yeah, finish it off, man.
so then my dad needed some help on the back of his house. He tore down, he built a shed on the back of the garage, kind of goes out. It's been there since I was in high school. He built that when I was in high school, 35 years ago. That stuff was not falling apart, but he's like, I got to redo this. So he cuts it all down. I helped him a couple weekends ago taking it apart. So we're digging up poles, digging new holes for poles, putting stuff in. And I had worked on the patio the day before. A couple of times during the thing, I'm like, and I just kind of lean over and I'm like bracing myself on my legs. I'm going. My dad goes, "You okay?" My dad's 75. He's like, "You okay? Do we need to stop?" I'm like, No. I'm upright. I'm upright. As long as I'm upright, I'm good. If I'm laying on the ground, call 911. But I'm good.
Yeah, get your dad asking you that. All right,
He's still trucking, man.
Wow. That's great.
I worry about him, though. You know, it's like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to come over here a little more and
Doing
help you.
too
Yeah, you
much.
don't overdo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you think you can do everything forever, but
Well, it keeps them going. You know, they love working in the yard. They love working. That's when you know you're in trouble.
stop.
You look at working in the yard, planting trees, putting stones around,
watering your grass.
I don't water. I water my. I do that now. I water my grass.
I can't afford to water my grass, man. You get a water bill in this city, oh my God. It's like,
Actually, I don't water the grass so much as I water the garden. That's even worse.
okay.
Well, I'm not out there like with a pail yet. I'm out there with the hose, and I just hose it on those hot days.
Hose it down.
Hose it down a little bit. But the fact that I even care.
My favorite thing to do is a power washer. 90-degree day, get out there with the power washer.
Yeah, I've been out there with the power washer.
No.
Yeah, I love it.
Again, once you get your eggs in, go make a mohawk. I'll tell
We
you.
could next week.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about some serious stuff.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Oh, that's no fun.
She's recording it anyway. Just remember, we're still on film. I'm gonna put that in there.
That'll be the freeze frame for the other.
No idea what he's talking about. So you're talking about gratitude.
Yeah, I've been having a rough time with gratitude lately,
Huh.
and I think everybody does. Everybody looks at we're struggling. Everybody's struggling, and we're all getting our asses kicked every day. And maybe we're not getting our asses kicked, but we're just kind of like not feeling it, right? And sometimes you just gotta like sit down, contemplate, look at your problems, because you could have a gold-plated problem that you are just like freaking out over. And I got people in my life. They're looking at way worse things than I've ever had to endure. And I look at what they're doing. I won't go into the details right now, but and when you see those things happen in other people, it's it kind of makes you appreciate. You have to think about, okay, hey, you know what? My life isn't so bad.
I don't know if I have. It's not to say that everybody's got their own situation. I don't think that I've had that issue very often, and I think that the reason being is that my path to whatever you want to call it, my life or success or whatever it may be, was not simple by any means. So I think I mentioned it to her pretty often. You look around and just say, this is just not a problem. We have no problems comparatively.
Right.
The fact that I have to stay up for 36 hours and help with business or whatever it may be, that's not an issue.
Well, you have to strive for balance, and I think we've talked about that whole balance thing. You gotta take care of yourself, because if you drive yourself too hard, you're hurting yourself. Mm-hmm. It's, even if it's like office work, right? People in office spaces think, I'm not working that hard, but you know what? You're not working your body. Your body is not. You're in a stress mode. You got to really focus on that. You got to take care of yourself. You have to stay at least in tune with your sleep. Wasn't there somebody on the show that was talking about their sleep patterns or something? It was another podcast I was watching, but it was like they were talking about their sleep patterns and making sure. It was one of the Jordan Peterson things. Here we go, living my life,
Yeah.
And that's one of the most important things that therapists would say is are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating? Are you eating right? Just do that. And 90% of the people out there aren't even doing that simple thing right. I know I don't, but for whatever reason, it's happening.
I don't. I don't think we're going to disagree on this topic, but I think that the majority of the people might take it slightly differently. I don't buy into the mantra of work-life balance. So, I've got hundreds of employees, and when I'm interviewing or whatever it may be, a lot of people talk about work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not sure I agree with that concept either.
More so in the last, I've probably heard that more in the last 7 years than any time in my career. The reason that I don't is because I think that it should be synonymous, if you will, meaning there's no doubt that the majority of the people that are working for somebody else, right?
Right.
And therefore they distinguish those things indifferently, meaning that you've got work and then you've got life, the rest of your life, eating and shopping and taking care of yourself and whatever.
Going home and sleeping.
Getting the right amount of sleep and I'm not saying I don't buy into the mantra of balance, absolutely. But when people talk about work-life balance, I guess when you put yourself in a position, where work and life are sort of integrated into one thing, and that you're able to achieve doing something that you're passionate about,
Right.
it doesn't become work life. It just becomes life balance.
Right.
And therefore, and that's why I don't look at my work, for example, as work necessarily. I look at it as part of it. It's so integrated into my life. That's not to suggest that, I don't sit down and consult with clients. It's not to suggest, and that you could consider that work, and that eating is not working, and watching television is not
Right.
working. And
Oh,
that
television is a complete waste of time.
sleeping is not working, and so on and so forth.
But sleeping is a necessity.
Well, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody has different needs. I think scientifically, people would argue that you need your 6 to 8 hours a night in order to operate effectively. I think some people are outliers and don't necessarily. And I think it's the way you approach your life in its entirety.
Right.
And and it's not to say that I'm better than anybody else, because but remember, this is again 25 years in the making, right? So I put myself in a position where I pursued something that was passionate to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be running a technology companies or being independent of an employer, if you will. And I look at it kind of one and the same. So my 24 hours in a day just sort of drags into the next, into the next, into the next. And I don't know if I work more than other people. I don't know if I work less than other people.
You probably do.
I probably do, but work more than most people. But I don't look at it. I don't count my hours. I'm just doing what I enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
and I
that's
find
okay.
that it's a mindset of sorts, meaning I'm not stressed out while I'm doing it.
Well,
Right.
there's people that watch the clock. There's people that
But that's
that
something, again, that's
and
something the majority
they're
of
working.
people-
Okay, you're getting my 8 hours. Okay, 8.5 hours, 9 hours. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. And there's people that have to compartmentalize their life like that. And I think we have that here in Detroit, right? I think we grew up with the production line mentality, right? You're gonna kick it on the production line. You're gonna get it done, 8-10 hours. You're done. You're out.
It's an industrial thought process.
It is.
Clock in, clock out.
Well, I
Clock
mean,
in,
well, they
clock
still
out.
they still do
Right.
it in a lot of organizations,
And it still works that way. And that can work in business and it can work in other ways. But here's my thought. So there's what I've observed over the years is that there's a level of sacrifice they have to give up to get just that little bit more. And some people can cross that threshold and just roll with it. They can let work run through their life and still break away from it to the fact where it doesn't drive them crazy. There are some people, I'm kind of like this, where I'm in it. I don't even take a lunch. I barely break. I don't look at websites. I'm not doing all that crap. You got me for 8 hours. You got me for 8 hours. And when I'm done, I'm done. I'm not calling in. I'm not taking calls, because I've done the other side of it, and I've had calls coming in 7, 8, 9, 10 at night, and it's like, wait, now I'm sacrificing time with my kids, time with my wife, cleaning the house, just doing basic stuff. So what is important to you? And you sometimes you have to sacrifice those things, but is it worth it?
You do it. I think you do that a lot more in your early career than you do in your elder career, if you will.
And that's why people don't want to hire people over 50, right?
Well, because you've been through the ringer. You already did your time. I mean, you feel like you did your time. I did my, let's say, for example, in the technology business, let's say we go live, which is often, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to go live, everybody's on call over the weekend, the night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, for Monday prod, whatever it might be, right?
Right.
And you get the midnight call, you get the 3 a.m. call to make sure that the cadence is being done properly. You got the 6 a.m. call all weekend long, right? You've done that over and over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that at times I think you look back and you think to yourself, I really should have spent more time with my children, or I should have spent more time with doing good things for myself personally. I should have, should have.
Hobby,
hobbies and so
Yeah.
forth, right? But and I know it's difficult for people to understand that the idea of not having what they would call a work-life balance, because I think that they've become. You had the age where work was work, and then there was no need to balance. There was no need to balance because the communication methods weren't there in order to have the need for balance
Right.
post 5 o'clock.
You call me on my ringing phone where I got to dial numbers. That's a pain in the butt.
So arguably, this is something that came to be in the late 90s as cell phones became more available. I think you probably heard about the how many people, when you were flying, I flew again thousands of times, and I don't remember one person ever using the phones in the back of the seats. And you know what they did with them? They took them out. Because people looked at the flying time, for consultants in particular, as a way to get away. To be able to say,
Give you a little break.
to be able to say, listen, I'm on an airplane for the next 2-3 hours. You can't get hold of me.
Right.
In the late 90s, when cell phones became pervasive, and certainly as smartphones made it worse, come 2007, 2008, because now you got your email,
I
IM, text messaging, so on, and phone, all there. It's a 24-hour day. And I'm not sure it was necessarily the expectations of employers to say you need to work a 24-hour day.
It's
just
unspoken.
It was just the ability was there now.
Right. But you got to service the customer, and that's a hard thing, because if you care about the customer, if you have a work ethic and you want to do quality work, you want to be there for them.
Well, I think that's why you started hearing more, and why I started hearing more about work-life balance the last 7 years.
Yeah.
In particular, 7 years going back to 2011, when 10, let's say, when smartphones were definitively more pervasive everywhere, right? And now your communication methods were infinite, and you're expected to be available all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you heard about work-life balance before that.
No.
Let's say in the 70s or 80s. Because you're right. You go to your industrial job or whatever it may be. You punch in at 8 o'clock. You punch out at 5, and everybody goes home. You have dinner. Spend time with the family, so on and so forth. So it's not that I don't buy into balance. I just don't buy into the work-life portion of it. I think it's necessary for employers to understand that. I can tell you right now that I don't bother, my executive team generally to call in and say otherwise.
Really?
Generally after 5 o'clock. No, I do not. No.
Oh, after 5.
Oh.
After 5. Okay, that's that.
I do my best to cut it off at 5.
Yeah, I do too.
No,
Yeah.
I don't call them. I may email them, but I don't expect answers until the next morning.
Right. Right.
And it's not because I don't want them to have equal passion for what they're doing. It's because I understand that they're not the employer.
Right.
They're the employee.
Well, there's a big difference when you're dealing with the employee, and there's a dynamic there, and there may be a level of respect depending on the employer, right? But if you're dealing with the employee customer, customers have never-ending demands. They want everything now, yesterday, tomorrow, right away. I want a response by midnight. Unless something's down. So, I guess that's why we develop SLAs and response times.
Oh, service level agreements have come into play heavily, particularly on the infrastructure side, for uptime. A lot of that's been resolved by having, backups in cloud environments, right? Service
That's a good
level
point.
service level agreements are not what they were 5 years ago.
Failover, high
High
availability.
was a huge topic 5 years ago. Not so much anymore, right? Because
Well, it's
still
that
into-
was the evolution of it, right?
right,
Yeah.
it's still incorporated into the contracts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We want first it was 2 nines, 3 nines, 4 nines. Now it's 5 nines.
Yeah, we were asking for 5 nines. They were like, "Yeah, the best we can give you is 4 nines." Yeah.
What's the difference? If you could do 4, you could do 5, you could do 6, you could do 7, you could do 8. I mean, basically, it's it's something under 100. It's enough downtime in order to do upgrades and patches.
That's all you need.
But even now, you can back up to a alternative environment, and it's not going to be a dev environment. They're going to have a secondary prod environment in the cloud where you can put yourself while you up. And that's why people like the cloud.
But everybody's cheap, right? Nobody wants to spend that money on that.
Well, a lot of the providers, such as Amazon, for example, right? If you want to, right? So you can borrow infrastructure temporarily. We're kind of getting a little off the gears here, but the point is that service level agreements are kind of a non-issue now for uptime nowadays. But it is for client availability for your clients.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you right now that we don't pressure, and it's not because we don't have clients that don't have demands. I handle it a different way entirely through delegation and distribution, fairness within our organizations, and not put it on a single individual to say, look, you're the one that needs to be available 24 hours a day.
Right.
Because we're, particularly now, we're in a very competitive unemployment environment, right? And if you make people do things that they don't want to do, they're just going to up and go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't have much choice at this moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Work-life balance, in principle, agree. I think that people should do their best to try to think of their work and their life as a single entity, meaning, yes, we have to do these pieces in order to make money. That's what you're there for.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
To provide. You're there to make money to provide for your family based on your cognizant abilities. Your cognitive abilities, meaning that's what you're providing is a service.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything from being a nurse to being a manufacturing to being a technologist to being a CEO. It doesn't make a difference. You're being paid specifically for your cognitive abilities.
But some people don't care about quality, and I think that's really difficult in these days.
Yeah, that's up to the companies. Yeah, and in many cases, that's up to the clients as well. Because I can tell you right now that, and I'm not pumping up our own company, we provide a quality that's well beyond our competitors. But in many cases, arguably, even though we're large, we don't have the brand that they do. Right. I'm not going to name the names of the companies. These companies have hundreds of thousands of employees all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
They've been there since 1812. Right. There's nothing I can do about it, other than to continue to suggest that here's the quality difference that we're going to be able to provide and actually prove it through the course of delivery. Now, we do that successfully over and over again, but if you're, I'm not going to name a name of a competitor, but let's say you're Walmart, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You're Walmart. What are you going to do? I mean, you're not going to open ABC Company and suddenly be a competitor of Walmart. They'll squish you like a bug.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
matter
look
if
at
they
Kmart.
provide. It doesn't matter if they provide the best service or not.
Yeah. Well, look at Kmart. They mismanagement and they got crushed.
That's enormous mismanagement. Enormous mismanagement, a terrible pulse on futurism, disorganized stores. I mean, I can name 100 things that's wrong with the Kmart.
Well, and that all goes around.
Bad product selection, nobody available, bad lighting. But it's just the whole thing's a mess.
Right.
And they wonder why they're going to go out of business. I mean, come on. Some of those things you just want to scream at the board and go, well, you're not up with the times.
Yeah.
I mean, Kmart could have become, I don't know, think of a company who's been successful in transforming themselves from one thing to another.
I just had one the other day. I was thinking
So
about
like Circuit City went down, Best Buy's struggling, Blockbuster went down.
Amazon.
Well, so Amazon might be a good example of how they
Right.
transform themselves. That's an online. I'm thinking of brick and
retail?
mortar retail.
Yeah,
Sears.
well, Sears did.
Yeah.
They had the opportunity, and I think we talked about that. Right?
So
Sorry.
J.C. Penney is trying like crazy.
Well, they had a really good guy at J.C. Penney, and then he left. He went somewhere else.
Well, he came from. I think he came from Apple. Actually,
Seriously?
he came from. I want to say it was Apple. I could be wrong, but it was a very high tech company. They brought him over as to say, how do we, sort of minimize our appearance, but he misunderstood that retail market, right? So he did a great job on certain things, such as redesigning of the stores and so on and so forth. I mean, well, at least it had the aesthetic appearance,
Oh, yeah.
right? What he missed is that JCPenney customers expect coupons. They love the coupon. They love the sale.
Is that
And
what it was?
He killed off the sales.
Oh.
And that's why they ditched him.
Because you know what happened? It was the employees all of a sudden became responsive. It wasn't like they were drones kind of walking around pointing you to that rack. It was like they were trying to help you.
Why the hell do you think Starbucks can charge $7 for a coffee service?
I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Sir, it's service.
The coffee's not that good.
It's service. They offer a premium coffee, but it's not nearly worth $7. But nonetheless, it's service. You go in there and everybody's hip hopping and smiling at you. Try to get bad service at Starbucks. You got bad service at Starbucks? I'm not saying never.
Nobody does.
Never an instance.
They write your name on the cup. They
it's just
care.
personalization.
Unless you give them a fake name.
Well, everybody does
Like
that.
what?
No.
I'm not going there.
Yeah, everybody plays with them every now and then. So they yell out an awkward name. I'll have a pumpkin spice for the Poop Meister.
See more butts?
See more
Anybody?
Phil McCracken.
butts. Please come get your pumpkin spice that you just paid $8 for. You ever watch a Starbucks settle? Let it get cold.
Oh, gross.
All right. No promotion from them either.
That's a weird concept.
So, what's funny about Starbucks, they don't have any coffee. I go by there, I'm like, yeah, I'll take a regular coffee. They're like, I don't have any coffee here. I'm like, what the?
A what?
They don't do coffee.
want a
Yeah, they
what?
want what? They're like an apple.
I want a black coffee, nothing in it.
And they're like, what?
Large.
What'd you say? An apple tart? And I'm like, no, I said coffee.
Just black coffee.
Just give me a coffee. We don't have coffee. It's gonna take 10 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, they have the customer thing. Yeah, because they have to make it. Nobody orders coffee at Starbucks. But you go in there, truthfully, I mean, they're very service oriented. Whoever wrote the book on that one, as opposed to Wendy's. So I went into a Wendy's one time.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Lord.
tell a little story. And I didn't go into Wendy's. I was in the parking lot. The line at the drive-thru, they never get it right. So I sent my 2 kids in to get it. I'm like, go get this. All right, I'm sitting there for like 15 minutes. I finally call one of them, and I'm like, listen, what are you doing? They're like, we're in line. I go, just get the food and let's go. This is supposed to be fast food. They're like, we're not the ones working behind the counter. I'm like, just get it. Get the food. Another 10 minutes pass. I call them up again. I'm like, what? What are you doing? We're getting it. They're making it. Another 10 minutes pass. 35 minutes, I'm in the parking lot.
What?
I didn't call. Third time I go in.
Oh, no.
I get out of the car and I go in.
He's got a machete in his hand.
And there's like a bunch of Wendy's. They're the only 2 in there.
What?
And there's like 20 people behind the counter. This is a true story. 20 people behind the counter.
20? Really?
20.
20. 25?
Okay, there was 19. There was 19 people behind the counter. No, there was a lot. and they're all doing what's seemingly busy, right? I lost it.
What
was like-
happened?
I was
What'd you
like,
do?
how long does it take to make a Whataburger? They're like, this isn't Whataburger. I'm like, just what is the problem?
Did you fire anyone?
Huh?
He probably fired them all.
Yeah, I fired them all. I couldn't believe it. I lost it. I didn't lose it completely, but I was just like, what are you guys doing? It's a Big Mac. I mean,
Whopper.
Is it Wendy's single or double, sir? We don't even make the triple because
actually,
it
sometimes
causes
I do
coronary
go to
bypass.
Burger
That
King
is
and I'll order
problem.
a Big Mac, and they'll be like, excuse me? I'll be like, yes, I'd like a Big Mac, please. Or I'll go to McDonald's and order a Whopper. Like, we don't have Whoppers. And I'll be like, do you have bread? They'll be like, yes. I'll be like,
Well,
do you
you
have
remember-
burgers? Yes. Do you have lettuce? Yes.
You
To
remember,
make a Whopper.
well, you remember when the big fight was, Burger King, hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us. I remember that?
Who is this?
That was Burger King and McDonald's. McDonald's was like, we are burger Nazis.
No.
You are going to get the burger we make.
Yeah, microwaved.
That's it. Onions, ketchup, pickle, mustard. You get it.
You can see it now.
Burger King, they were like, whoop, hey, whatever you want, brother, we're going to give it to you.
Yeah.
And they'd be calling that stuff out.
Is that
I
stuff?
worked at Burger King, so I
haven't heard,
know.
I haven't
You
heard of
did?
stuff.
Oh,
before.
I was on the sandwich board.
Okay, all right. I'll give you one more story. Baskin Robbins.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Do they really grill their burgers at
Yes.
Burger King?
Yeah.
That's
It's actually
amazing.
well,
What's a rotate?
it's an assembly it's an
Oh,
assembly
okay.
line. So you get the frozen patties, you drop them on the conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
You go through a little machine, they drop out. Then you drop them out and then you put them into a steamer. So the steamer keeps them going as you're rocking them out the door.
All right, I guess the simple question is, would you still eat a Burger King?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you know if it's.
That's
If
only
it's okay.
It depends
Good
on the
question.
Burger King because I trust me, I'm like a hawk when I go into a Burger King. I'm watching them.
So that
And
means,
this was like 20 years
that
ago.
means it's
right?
questionable.
Well, I've
You
seen
know what?
some
though?
things go on,
Let me tell you
Oh,
something.
no.
Let me
but
tell.
we didn't know.
Let me tell
we
you.
didn't
Let me
know.
tell you something. They're all like that. So
Yeah.
who cares? You know what you got to
Right.
do with these places? Don't look at the meat too close. Just eat it.
Yeah. I don't want to know.
Don't
Look at the meat.
Don't
too
look at the meat.
close.
no. Don't look at the burger at all.
What?
It's
Sorry.
I love it.
Hey, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and wherever else. Just don't look at the food. Just eat it.
Even Subway.
Yeah,
I
don't
wanna
look at
know.
it. Don't
And
look
if
at
something
it.
chewy or hard kind of goes through there, just either
Just eat it.
elegantly just spit it out or
Just eat it.
just swallow it
No,
and
the-
just go on with your life.
Yeah, just know you ate a
The
cockroach.
worst thing I ever had, not to bag on Wendy's, was a fishy pickle.
No.
Yes.
The problem is they don't change their grease in between. Like they don't have separate grease things for like fish and fries. So at some point, if
But
they
how
don't
the hell
change
did it
it,
get on the damn pickle?
because it,
A
I don't know.
pickle fell in there, and they took it out. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
probably.
All right.
These were, every single burger had this fishy pickle thing.
All right, fish.
Couldn't go back there for, I probably shouldn't go back there. My son was annoyed. My wife was annoyed. I was annoyed. I was like, man, I should just like go back. But you're not going to get the right pickle. It's just going to go badly after that.
There's always something awkward, and of course the order's never right. You got to make that decision when you try to check the bag, but there's too many things in the bag to check, and you're annoying everybody behind you. And I'm like, look at the burgers, see if we got them all.
Just do a count. Quick count. Bang,
quick,
bang.
quick.
3 fries.
Okay, at least we got
4
the right
burgers,
number of
out.
sandwiches, and then you got to pull up a little bit. They should have like a holding pattern, like place where you can check your food.
They don't want to do that.
No.
I know, but
No. Get
and
out of there.
I know, but I park in the number one little slot. where
There you
bring
go.
it- right.
Check your order.
Check your order. Because I ordered like 100 things just for myself.
No.
I got like
That's why you got the diabetes.
I got two Big Macs and like a fillet of fish and 2 fries and a couple apple pies and a decaf and a
Hey,
regular calf.
If you get the app, man, you can get a whole bunch of stuff for free. So my son God bless his heart, worked his ass off at McDonald's for the last couple of years, between college and
Oh,
everything.
good for him.
Oh, yeah. Kicks ass over there. And so he's over there working, and he gets us hooked up on the app. So my wife has the app. I don't like putting all that crap on my phone. Free stuff like every frickin' day. Free Sundays, free fish sandwich. I mean, if you're not using the app and you go to McDonald's and you like McDonald's, you're dumb to not do that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the reason they do it is it's kind of the future, right? They have to have people on the app, right? Or they're going to lose out at the end of the day.
Right.
Because the younger generation that's what they want to do. They want to order everything through their apps and all this kind of stuff, and they got to get in on it now. So the easiest way to do that is give the kids a bunch of free food.
Can I talk about Domino's?
Well,
Yes,
I want to
please
get.
do.
Please let me get to my Baskin Robbins.
Oh,
yeah,
I was
sorry.
15, I was
go
15
ahead.
years old. I like Domino's, so be careful.
Oh, no, I don't mind
I used to
Domino's.
hate them, but that guy took over, and then they do better now.
Now their
Anyway.
pizza doesn't suck and it doesn't taste like cardboard. So yay.
Yeah, no, they did fix it.
Domino's
good.
doesn't taste like cardboard? See, now that was a complaint by a friend of mine. His family was Italian.
He was right.
And they used to order Domino's, and they,
terrible.
it's a cardboard pizza.
It is.
Yeah,
That's
and they
what it
hated
tastes like.
They hated it.
It used to be like
But they
that.
would order it and
Yeah.
eat it anyway.
What's their like slogan now? Yeah, yes, we did, or whatever.
They admitted that they
No.
had
So
crappy
basically,
pizza.
here
And they
the guy
fixed
was
it.
the guy was brilliant. I think he's still in charge. It's about 8-9 years ago. He took over Domino's, and he basically admitted to all their faults instead of hiding it. He said, "Look, we got shitty pizza, shitty service, shitty location, shitty everything, right?"
Wow.
And he said, "But here's what we're gonna do. I'm fixing everything, and you're gonna love it."
I do. That app is fantastic.
And now,
So and so is putting your pizza in the oven. Well, thank
Oh,
you,
the
so and so.
tracker?
Yeah, I love it.
That's pretty cool.
That app was brilliant.
How simple. Well, why shouldn't every pizza
I
place
mean,
do
I know
that?
people that literally order from Domino's just to watch the tracker because, I mean, that was more fun than just.
yeah, it's in the
I won't
oven,
mention
it's
any
in the
names.
car, it's in
Okay.
whatever.
But that happened.
That explains why I did a phone call with Domino's a couple years ago. We're not a pizza company. We're a technology company.
Smart.
What? Really? I mean, I just about fell out of my chair. I was like, okay, this is really weird, but I'm listening.
No, they fixed everything, cradle to grave. I mean, that guy came in and basically said, the ingredients are bad, fix it. The prices are bad, fix it. The stores look like crap, fix it. And he fixed everything. Now they're, I think, number one again. Of course, Papa John didn't help Papa John by, being who he is.
Did I tell you how many
Being Papa
pizza
John, yeah.
places? Oh, I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I don't know. Why don't I go ahead?
Oh, we keep dusting you here.
He's
Yeah,
like,
sorry,
wait. You
Baskin Robbins.
My
You go ahead and you
show.
go ahead.
Tell about Baskin Robbins,
Yeah, no,
please.
you guys could talk about
go ahead.
your mohawks and eggs.
Go ahead, Richard, please.
No, okay. So, I worked 15 years old. My second official job, because I worked on farms when I was like 2. I worked at Baskin Robbins. I noticed we had a little bit of a problem. First of all, I had a very hairy manager, and I always forgot my pink shirt. So you know he would do?
Hug you.
No.
No, he'd be like, "That's okay. You can borrow mine. I'm leaving."
You'd think you learned. Don't do that.
Why does this shirt look like cashmere?
No, so he,
Bring
right,
your
right
own shirt.
if this were today's environment, this would be completely unacceptable. He'd actually take off his shirt in the back, and I'm just going to add this for the sake of story. He was gay, and I didn't mind that, other than to say that just kind of added to the "I don't want to put your shirt on" thing. So anyway, he'd take it off, and like this guy was hairy, and there'd be hair all over it. To the point. So you know what he would do? This is a true story. So he'd take a piece of tape and put it backwards and like blot it.
He had to literally like roll himself like a cat
No,
After a cat wore its
he'd
shirt?
blot the shirt, and the whole time I'm looking at it like, I can't believe I got to put that on.
I'm like, how did you ever forget that more than once?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I was just gonna say.
No, I put
what
the
are you
I put
doing?
the pink shirt over my shirt, and I felt like I was gonna throw up.
but still.
But listen, right when he left, I took it off. Right. So anyway, so he'd leave, I take it off. So I noticed that we had a little bit of a problem in the store. Right. Besides me eating all the ice cream,
What was the problem?
I mean, you're
Well,
only human.
I ate all the ice
Right.
cream. That was one problem. Whippets were kind of a big thing back then, so I did too much of those.
Hair in the ice
do
cream,
tell.
maybe?
Tell me more about these whippets you
It's,
speak of.
Well, I want to give too much away to the young audience, but there's
I
stuff,
digress.
There's stuff,
Carry on.
There's stuff in the whipped cream that'll make it a little loopy for 45 seconds.
Sweet.
Well, I had some crackhead working with me, and he'd be like, "Look at this dude," and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Try it," and I'm like, "Whoa,
Best job ever.
yeah." So, yeah, except we went through. The manager finally said, "Why are we going through like 50 bottles of whipped cream a day?" They're like,
They don't work.
I don't know.
all right, so we had a legitimate problem. I noticed that there were the little tiny cockroaches in the store at times. And every now and then I'd make a scoop of, like, let's say Rocky Road or something.
No.
Get out.
No.
Don't know me.
No.
This isn't
I'll know you.
This isn't in
No.
Michigan, is it?
That's
No,
it.
no,
I'm
no.
making all my own food and I'm making all my own ice cream.
This is on
I
the,
trust
it.
nothing.
this is on the East Coast in 1988.
Thank you for clarifying. I would not want to give Detroit a bad name. with
87. It was 87.
Yeah,
it
not
was
here.
87 actually.
Not here.
All right, so I notice it every now and then, and I dump out the scoop and I get them a fresh scoop because I notice it, but they don't because it looks like it kind of integrates into the ice cream. But every now and then I miss one, and somebody come back in like a minute later and go, "I think there's a cockroach in my ice cream."
that. Nah, that's a walnut.
I'd be like, no, that's just part of the. It looks like a gummy bear to me. You know, it was a car. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I told the manager. I said, "Listen, we need. I think there's more cockroaches in here than you realize. You know, I see them like scurrying behind the soda machine and all this stuff." So he said, "Fine, I'll get it sprayed." So on a Friday night, it gets Saturday night because Sunday's the slowest day. And we open late. We get the place sprayed overnight. I come in an hour early.
Oh,
Right.
passes out as he hits the door.
So I come up to I open the thing, and you can't see the floor.
Oh my God.
You can't see the counters.
Crunch.
You can't see the floor. So like you know how you freak out about like one cockroach, being on you or something.
Jess, the engineer, is
she-
plugging her
can't do
ears
it.
because she
She's
can't take it
not.
anymore.
This is true. So you know how like one thing will kind of freak you out, but a whole bunch of them kind of just like
I'm a little queasy right now.
Yeah. So I just said screw it, and I just like crunched my way all the way around. They were all over the counters. So my estimation, there had to be at least 500,000 cockroaches in there, and they were all kind of like half dead but still alive, like just their legs are wiggling. And I was like, my dad was with me. He's like, holy shit. I ain't never eaten here again.
We're not ordering ice cream here again.
And I called the manager. I said, and there's no phones back there. I can't take a. I said, you can't even see the floor. You can't see the counters. You can't see anything. It's just this crunchy noise going on in here. He's like, well, we got a vacuum, and I start vacuuming them all up, and like sweeping them into corners, and yeah, it was pretty yummy.
What kind of ice cream did we make with that?
I don't know what I did clean it up pretty well. I mean, I got rid of all of them, the ones that I could see at least. But I don't know where they came from, maybe behind the walls or whatever.
Ooh,
And
that's horrible.
Yeah, that was not clean by any means.
Henry Rollins used to work in an ice cream shop.
You can put your headphones back on. It's all
Come
Okay.
back to us.
Come
Come
back
back.
to us.
He's done.
Jessica, listen.
I was pushing my ears in really hard. I
Just
couldn't
go-
actually hear you, though, so it worked.
Listen.
If you're going to talk about cockroaches, I will not.
No,
listen.
we're done.
No, we're
going to
done.
be
We're done
kind.
with the cockroaches inside the ice cream. All right, man. No, that really did happen.
That is horrific.
It is horrific.
And I saw a video on YouTube where
And people complain about Chipotle.
I saw one
Actually,
video
people-
the other
people
day.
get sick from that, though.
It was a kitchen where the guys snuck into the kitchen. I'm going to assume it was either New York City or someplace in Asia.
Yeah.
They came in with the camera. It's all dark. They flip on the lights and they film. The rats ran up this pole in a little hole in the ceiling, and it was like a stream of rats running
my
up
God.
into
No.
the ceiling for a minute. A minute solid of these rats just going "Wah," and running up into the ceilings. Oh my God. That was the only thing that I think the cockroaches actually overtook that video.
And I mean, people have an issue with stray cats. I don't. You know why? Because they eat rats
They eat everything.
and mice.
They mice, whatever.
Goodbye.
Yeah, cats aren't bad.
No.
I don't have a problem with stray cats.
We need more cats, I think. Bigger cats. We need cats that can fight pit bulls. That's what we
So
need.
tigers and lions, basically, and cheetahs.
Bet you a bobcat or,
Uh,
yeah, I don't know. We're turning National Geographic here. Never mind.
Yeah, let's just let some lions and bobcats out. See how many kids get hurt.
There was, you hear about out west all the time. These joggers go running out in the national forest.
Yeah.
It was 99 was the last time I was out in Colorado, and we went on a 3-day. We found one of the crime scenes, and it was all taped off where somebody had gotten attacked by an animal. We never figured out. We never heard what that was, but there wasn't. It was kind of neat. I mean,
Somebody got chewed up by a lion.
there wasn't anything to like poke with a stick.
Pretty
So
cool.
it was like, wow, this is kind of weird. Somebody got attacked and possibly killed by an animal
Chewed
out
up.
here.
Oh, that's the animal kingdom, right?
All right.
You think you're at the top of your game until you come up against it. You see how big tigers are? You ever see a tiger? I mean, like up close.
Not in the wild.
Like, they're enormous. they're a lot bigger than they appear. Like, you think of tigers as smaller than like female lions or whatever. They're not. They're huge.
Tigers, what is it? Cougars. Cougars are native, right? Not that kind of cougar, but we have cougars and
Yes.
what's the other big cat we have out
Panther.
west?
and
Panther?
Do we have panthers?
I don't
think we have
no,
panthers.
Not in Michigan, no.
I think panders.
Panthers?
Are reserved for like Africa, aren't they? In the jungle and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
South America.
It doesn't matter. Listen, if it weighs more than you, you're going to get chewed up.
Cats are badass.
Don't go right. Yeah, don't go up against a chimp or a gorilla.
Ooh.
Or, I mean, obviously the obvious ones are bears and stuff like that. Start messing with a chimpanzee. That lady, what happened a few years ago? She got her face ripped off.
oh yeah,
Oh, they'll tear you
God, a
apart.
squirrel will rip your face open if you get too close to it and freak it out. You know,
My
and they're
squirrels in my yard have been getting uppity with me. I don't know what's going on. They're like climbing on the tree like 2 feet from my face, and they're going,
Tiny. Apparently, you're not putting enough food in your garbage.
I'm doing something wrong. Yeah.
You're about to be attacked.
I'm waiting for it. Because
All right.
I'll go out and I'll exterminate every one of them.
I want to cover one more thing.
All right.
So I had an article on Entrepreneur.
Oh, let's get some.
Congratulations.
Entrepreneur.
Awesome.
Blah,
That's
blah, 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 blah,
awesome.
blah. It was in Entrepreneur magazine last week.
What was it
And
about?
It was called The Swindle of the Century, and it was about Bitcoin.
A
Well, it was about
swindle.
The Swindle of the Century, and it was about Bitcoin
Fitting
and
title.
cipher technologies and all this kind of stuff. So basically, the article is about, well, it being the swindle of the century. And people were, the hate mail that I got was unbelievable. I loved it.
Really?
Hate mail from people?
Oh, yeah, sure. You got to think about why.
Yeah, why?
Well, because I'm messing with people's money.
Well, you didn't create the investment climate, did you?
It doesn't make I was ripping it apart, basically saying you're ripping everybody off. Cut it out. I mean, if you could have just summarized it, it would have been you're ripping off everyday people, right?
Who's ripping off
Let's call them armchair investors.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You're creating initial coin offerings, right, and ripping people off. Bitcoin and everybody else. It's not being used for its original purposes. It's drug me crazy, and it makes me angry that they're ripping people off this way.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Well, of sorts. So
Yeah.
So I got a lot of hate mail about it, which is great. So to all those who sent hate mail, just screw yourself.
If you're taking flack, you're over the target.
Yeah, no. So somebody wrote an alternate version. And I'm not even going to give the guy credit. Right, all he did was promote my articles more and more.
Was that so good?
I'm actually going to respond to it potentially because he's inaccurate in so many different ways. It's unbelievable.
Oh.
But I wanted to read this to you. This is somebody that sent me something on LinkedIn that obviously didn't read my article. and this is the epitome of what I can't stand. This was sent to me today, actually. And it's spam. So it wasn't sent to me specifically. It goes out to thousands of people, I'm sure. And it says, hello, we've helped ICOs, initial coin offerings, raise more than $84 million to our clients, and we're open to new projects, ! We have extensive experience with Bitcoin Talk Pump. We got to listen to the words here. Bitcoin Talk Pump.
What does that even mean?
It means you're an idiot.
Talk pump.
Publication and media. China ex-Korea PR, public relations, Reddit promotion, airdrops, Telegram Real Crypto members, placement of listings and ratings, and so on and so forth. Fill on the Google form, and we'll consider your application and contact you ASAP. And there's a link to it. The point being is that let's go back to the beginning. We've helped ICOs raise more than $84 million for our clients. Now, let's say that's an inflation, and it's half of that. $42 million in ICO money. That's not Bitcoin. So essentially what they're claiming is that they've created $84 million in investment from armchair investors primarily to buy into ICOs. And look at what they're selling. They're not selling cryptography. They're not selling security solutions. They're not selling blockchain solutions. They're not selling quantum with a U solutions. All right, they're not selling cipher technologies. They're not trying to better anything. They're trying to grab onto ICOs. This is all about marketing. I said weeks ago, I think on the podcast potentially, that the ICOs, the best will win. It's just a marketing ploy, right? Whoever markets the highest and creates the highest valuation, right, essentially has the highest coin value, and then everybody gets ripped off, right? Because the underlying technology doesn't actually exist.
Dear God,
this is a perfect example of the nonsense going on out there, and the responses to my article were, partly hateful, partly inaccurate, or both, and then a little bit of I don't know what I'm talking about, which is ridiculous. These are the type of people you got to watch out for. To anybody here in the audience, stop. Whatever you do, this is just my humble opinion. Unless you understand security and cryptography, right? Don't go investing in any initial coin offerings because you're going to lose all your money. It's that simple.
Yep.
And the only ones making money off it are the exchanges and
whoever got in early.
These people who, there is no getting in early anymore. It's all gone.
No, you can't even get early into the stock market as it is, right?
That day is gone and past. I think it was the creator of Ethereum put out an article, and they're for all intents and purposes the number 2 coin behind Bitcoin. that's purchased. He even said, he wrote in his own article saying, the game's over. If you didn't already invest, you missed your chance.
Mm-hmm. And now it's just a bunch of swindlers.
Yeah, right, which is why it's called the swindle of the century. Now, somebody compared it to Bernie Madoff. I'm like disagreeing, but Bernie Madoff is a complete fucking asshole that ripped a lot of people off, right? But not nearly as much as these people are ripping people off.
You think the Bitcoin is worse than Bernie Madoff?
Oh, if look at the statistics.
Because I can't think of anybody worse than Bernie Madoff.
I'm talking about the aggregate of money that has been put into Bitcoin and ICOs and exchanges is exponentially more than Bernie Madoff ever took from
I
anybody.
had no idea, because I know he took like
Yeah, but as
trillions.
as a single individual,
Right.
right? As a single individual.
Show a graph of that.
I'll
I'd
put
like to see
it up
that.
on LinkedIn, and then you can also look at the charts of how much Bitcoin and all those have tanked in the last year.
Oh, yeah, they've been horrible.
Right.
There was a bunch of media, a bunch of stuff, and it's like, oh, this is going to be the thing of the century, and then...
Well, I also have a chart that shows that how it's worse than the .com bust.
Yes, I did see that one. That was in the article, wasn't it?
I connected, I think, to the article.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Anyway, it's not too much of a self-promotion, other than to say, I just for the audience purposes, I take no gain in any of this.
No.
I have no ICO. I have no blockchain solution.
Rich as bit.
I don't have rich bit.
Bitcoins. Rich bits.
I didn't invest at the high. You know, one of the comments to me was the author. They don't know me, of course. Must have invested it high and lost a ton of money. That's also untrue.
No. No, you knew enough not to do it in the first place.
People are just getting ripped off, and it pisses me off. You know?
Yeah.
It's just another way to take people's money, honest people's money. At the bottom of it, I did say blockchain has the ability, from a security perspective, to potentially change the security outline of the security industry.
Mm-hmm.
But and just like what was that first article that I wrote about this? I said, forget about the currency and focus on the cryptography.
The
Yes.
technology behind
Yes.
it.
Technology behind it. And I wrote that back in January. And I'm going to keep coming after these people, just so they know. I live in Michigan, by the way. I'm not afraid of you. So bring it on. You know.
So where do we read your article?
I don't know where that one is. That one's an Entrepreneur magazine.
Yeah.
You need to link it on the Richard Van State.
Well, the Richard Van Staten website is. I don't know if it's there or not yet. But
I think you can hook it up. You should be able to.
No. It could be put there. I just don't know if it's there yet or not.
I don't
But
think it is, but I think they're
if you were
working
to
on
if you were
it.
to
So
if you were to
this next
Google
week-
entrepreneur swindle of the century,
There you go.
You'd find it pretty quick. Or entrepreneur, and put my name in there. You'd find it pretty quick. And I think there's a Forbes article out there too
Yep.
that was published this week on Forbes magazine. I'm not going to get into that one.
All right.
There's Technology of 2020. Check that out. I run technology companies, but these are more futuristic looking nanotechnologies and whatnot. So that's in Forbes magazine, and the other one's Entrepreneur. Enjoy
Or not.
or not,
Right.
or get really bored and be like, I don't want to read this stuff anymore.
Whenever I send like my friends, so we've done like some updated content, I'm always like, enjoy or not.
Yeah,
Whatever.
You may not enjoy it.
I'm going to copyright that one. I
I'm just
think that one to
I'm just
be
going to keep
Enjoy
posting
or
stuff
not.
about me,
Or not.
about pouring a beer in Ireland. People seem to like that a lot.
Works better.
All right, everybody. It's a good week. Thanks to the audience, everybody.
be grateful.
Yeah, let's be
Oh,
be grateful.
Be grateful.
Work-life balance. If you employ that type of methodology, enjoy your life. You're only here for so long. Period.
Damn straight.
We're all dead soon. Enjoy it. Well, I don't mean that nefariously. My God, you really got me stuck on that word, by the way.
Nefariously?
Yeah,
I don't know. It just crept into my vocabulary.
I need to get out of there. And by the way, I'll be seeing Jordan Peterson next week. Okay.
Oh shoot!
All right.
Gotta go.
You guys
Bye.
are done.
Bye.